Hello everybody, today I'm going to be completing my first ever Nuzlocke of the game Pokémon Black. In this video, I'm going to be completing a Nuzlocke I started in a previous video. In case you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, it's a playthrough of any Pokemon game with these rules. Rule number 1 is that I can only catch the first Pokemon I encounter per route. If it's a Pokemon I don't want, then that's too bad, because if I don't catch it, then I don't get a Pokemon that route. Also, if a Pokemon faints, you have to release it, and if you white out, then you have to reset the whole run. The final rule is that you must nickname every Pokemon you catch, just to form a stronger emotional bond with them. In case you didn't see my last video, here's a quick rundown on what happened. For my starter, I chose Oshawott, and I named him Drizzle, because that's what I named my first ever Oshawott. My Route 1 encounter was a Patrat, which I named Pikachu. My Route 2 encounter was an Audino, which ended up being shiny. During the second gym battle, my Pikachu fainted. Also, I caught this Sandile and I named it Easy Cheese. With all that out of the way, I think it's finally time we get into this video. After getting the 4th gym badge, I left Nimbasa City and got into a fight with Charon. The battle with Charon was pretty easy and I was able to make my way to Drifveil City. On my way there, I was stopped by Alder, and I had to do a double battle with these two kids, which wasn't much of a challenge. After taking $208 from these poor preschoolers, I was finally able to head to Drifveil City. For my encounter, I was really hoping for Vanillite, because that would be super helpful for the 8th gym, which is a Dragon-type gym. And luckily for me, that was my encounter. I caught Vanillite, and because I didn't want to give it a basic name like Ice Cream, I put ice cream through Google Translate 1,000 times. And while I didn't know it yet, this Vanillite would be super helpful late game, especially during the Elite Four battles. After all of that translating, it turns out the name of this Vanillite would be First Step. Right now, I'm leveling up Franklin to the current level cap, which now is 29. Why am I playing with overleveling? Why did I do this to myself? Anyway, because the next gym is a ground-type gym, I'm gonna use Drizzle, a water-type. Because water-types are super effective against ground. Once I leveled up Franklin, it was time for me to go into the cold storage. Cold storage really isn't too dangerous, and there are only a couple trainers, and none of them are really too much of a threat. After I beat all the trainers in cold storage, I was finally able to challenge the 5th gym leader, Clay. Before that, though, I caught Carablast as my Route 5 encounter. I didn't know what to name my Carablast, so I asked this AI, and it came up with the name Spike, which is a really good name. Okay, now, for real this time, I'm gonna fight the 5th gym leader. Before I did that, I had to take down some of Clay's affiliates, which wasn't hard, just annoying. After taking this elevator, it was finally time for me to fight Clay. Clay started with his Krokorok, and I started with my Vanillite. Krokorok used Swagger, which unfortunately confused Franklin, but with Avalanche I was able to OHKO the first Pokemon. To fight Excadrill, I sent out Drizzle, who easily tanked a Water Slide. Then I used Scald, which not only did a ton of damage, but it inflicted a burn, which was really lucky. Since I knew Clay would use a Hyper Potion, I used this as an opportunity to get a free hit. Since Clay's a bot, he used another Hyper Potion, which let me get another free hit. From there, one more Scald took down Excadrill. For Palpitoad, I sent Franklin back out. While Palpitoad did do a good amount of damage with Muddy Water, I was able to one-tap him with Avalanche. And with that, I had defeated Clay and earned myself the 5th gym badge. I went to the Pokemon Center to heal up my Pokemon. Then Bianca stopped me because she wanted a battle. I used Scald and I got a lucky crit, so I was able to OHKO Herdier. For Pansage, I got its health low with Revenge and then finished it off with a Scald. Because of the way type advantages work, it was really easy to take down Pignite. Bianca's last Pokemon, Musharna, was pretty annoying to fight, but I was able to take it down with the Scald. I got the HM Fly, which is really useful if you remember that you have it, but I don't, so I just end up walking everywhere. I spent a little time leveling up Spike, and then I made my way to Chargestone Cave. I do end up having to fight some Team Plasma grunts, but they weren't really much of an issue. After taking out a bunch more Team Plasma grunts, this is at 100 times speed by the way, I had to fight N. N started with Bulldor, but I was able to get it down to 1 HP with a Scald. One more Scald and Bulldor fainted. For Joltik, I sent out Easy Cheese, and I was left on 10 health from a bug bite. I healed up, but then I was left on 4 HP. I switched to Ushiny, who was able to do a lot of damage with Secret Power, and ended up beating Joltik. For both Ferroseed and Clink, I just ended up spamming Scald. And with that, I was in Mistletron City. On my way to Twist Mountain, I got stopped by this trainer, and I had to do a really weird rotation battle. After finishing the battle with Franklin, my Easy Cheese evolved into a Krokorok. Shortly after, I went to Celestial Tower to catch Litwick, who would be super helpful later in the run. I threw 1 Ultra Ball, and luckily that was enough to catch Litwick. For some context as to why I named this Litwick DJ Khaled, Litwick evolved into a Chandelure, which looks like a chandelier, and
I call a chandelier!
I hope that clears things up. At the top of the tower, I met with Skyla, who is the next gym leader. Then I got to ring the bell, but the audio's corrupted, so I guess I'll make the sound effect myself. Bong. I think I should get a Grammy for that bell noise, but anyway. I went to the gym, got shot out of a cannon, and challenged the 6th gym leader. I switched into Franklin, who I had to heal up, which unfortunately let Swoobat do a lot of damage. Luckily, using Avalanche, I was able to get Swoobat to one-shot. Unfortunately though, we're only on 5 HP, which really isn't good. Skyla healed, and that let me get a free hit on Swoobat. Then I healed, but I was hit back down to 5 HP. After doing the same thing again, I finally got the sense to switch into Ushiny. After paralyzing Swoobat with Secret Power, Swoobat took itself out. I sent out Franklin to take care of Unpheasant, and after a couple of avalanches, I took out Unpheasant. Fighting Swanna was super annoying though. I sat there and I spammed Scald, and luckily, because of the burn, that was able to chip away at Swanna's health. Dude, I just want this over with. Alright. Yeah, as you can see, I wasn't too excited about that gym, but it's over. After the gym, my Drizzle evolved into a Samurai. And just like that, I had earned myself the 6th gym badge. I went to Twist Mountain and shortly after, Icarus City. After going into the Icarus City gym and fighting some of the trainers, it was time for me to fight Bryson, the 7th gym leader. To be completely honest, this was probably the easiest gym so far, because I could just use DJ Khaled to take care of most of these ice types. Beartic was kind of annoying, but I was able to do a ton of damage with Inferno. Because of the burn, I was able to send out Ushiny to tank a bunch of hits until Beartic eventually fainted. For Cryogonal, I just had to use 2 Infernos, and that was it. I wish that more happened from me getting the 6th and 7th gym badge, but all I did was fight some trainers in Twist Mountain. After getting the 7th gym badge, I went to Dragon Spiral Tower. I fought some annoying Team Plasma grunts. At one point I had to solo squad 4 of these Team Plasma grunts, but anyway, after that squad wipe, I encountered Zekrom. Unfortunately, my footage corrupted, but now we're in Opaloosa City, and I caught a Gotharita named Santa Hat. And even though it corrupted, I did go back to Relic Castle to get the Light Stone, so I could come here. I made my way to the Opaloosa City ooh, wait, hold on, how do you say that? Nope, I was right the first time. The last gym is a Dragon type gym, and Dragon types are weak to Ice types, so I'll use Franklin for the gym battle. Also, around this time, I've been thinking about what I'm gonna do for the Elite Four battles. and it's a lot more difficult than I expected. I started the 8th gym battle with Franklin, and I used Ice Beam. Luckily, Fractured at Dragon Dance, which is a setup move and doesn't damage me at all. And with one Ice Beam, I was able to take out Fracture. Drayden then sent out Dread again, and I was able to take it out with one Ice Beam as well. Okay, I had to look up how to pronounce that, and I'm gonna be honest, that just shook my world. I had no clues pronounced like that. Anyway, Haxorus was like nothing I had faced at this gym so far. Haxorus took not one, but 2 Ice Beams to take out. And just like that, I had the final gym badge. I did some level grinding, and my Gothorita evolved into a Gothitelle, and my Krokorok evolved into a Crocodile. After fighting Chiron for the last time, I made my way to Victory Road. Franklin evolved, and after that, it was time to fight the Elite Four. I did, however, go to Relic Castle first to grab the TM Shadow Ball, which I never ended up being able to use. And with that, it was time for me to fight the first member of the Elite Four, Chantal. For Cofagrigus, I used Foul Play twice, and that was enough to take it out, without taking too much damage myself. The next Pokemon she sent out was Jellicent, and this is where you can see how powerful Franklin is. By using Mirror Coat, you can deal a ton of damage back to the enemy after they attack you. For Chandelure, I sent out Drizzle, but I realized I could be one-shot by Shadow Ball, so I switched out to Easy Cheese. Easy Cheese tanked one Shadow Ball, and on Easy Cheese's next turn, I healed up Drizzle, which meant that on the next turn, Easy Cheese fainted. Then, Drizzle took one Shadow Ball and used Surf to do a ton of damage. I knew that Chandelure was gonna heal up, and so I needed to get a crit right here. And thank the RNG gods, I got the crit. I used one Surf to take care of Golurk because it used Curse, which drained the rest of its HP. Anyway, it's time for me to fight the next member of the Elite Four, whose typing is Dark. I started with Drizzle, and I used Scald, so I got a lucky burn. Then I used Aqua Tail to do even more damage, and because of the burn, Scrafty was defeated. Then, Grimsley sent out Crocodile. Crocodile got me low with Crunch and Earthquake, but with only one Surf, I was able to take Crocodile down. Bisharp is another Pokemon that only took one hit to defeat, because with only one Revenge, Bisharp was defeated. For my first move against Liepard, I healed up, because I knew I could probably be one-shot. Unfortunately, this Revenge left Liepard on a sliver of HP, which meant next turn, Grimsley was going to heal it up to full. After only 2 more Revenges, Liepard fainted. This meant that Grimsley was defeated, and I only had 2 more Elite Four members to go. Now, I'm fighting Caitlyn, whose Pokemon are all Psychic types. This battle immediately starts with a close call, when Reuniclus uses Focus Blast, and I'm left on just 5 HP. But I used Mirror Coat, and that ended up one-shotting Reuniclus. I used the same strategy of using Mirror Coat, and that got Gothitelle really low. I knew that Gothitelle was gonna get healed up, so I used that as an opportunity to heal up myself. Caitlyn healed up Gothitelle again after I did the same thing, but I used Ice Beam, and that froze Gothitelle. A couple more Ice Beams later, and Gothitelle fainted. For Musharna, I just had to use a couple of Ice Beams, and that was it. Sigilyph started by using Psychic, and I used the same Mirror Coat strategy to do a ton of damage. I assumed that Sigilif would get healed up, so I used that turn to heal up myself. But Sigilif used Psychic, and I was left on 69 HP. For this turn, I was going to use the Mirror Coat strategy, and I survived on 3 HP. But luckily, I finished off Sigilif. And now, it's time for me to fight Marshall, the last member of the Elite Four, and the last obstacle in completing my Nuzlocke. Marshall started with Throw, and I started with Santa Hat. I used Psychic, which did a ton of damage. Throw did use Payback, which got me kind of low. Luckily though, with only one more Psychic, Throw fainted. I sent out Drizzle to fight Mean Shao, and I used my first turn to heal up Santa Hat. Mean Shao, however, used U-turn, so now I was fighting Sock. I used Surf twice, and that was enough to make Sock faint. I sent Santa Hat back out to fight Conkeldurr, and I used Psychic, and Conkeldurr healed up, until eventually Conkeldurr fainted. I sent out Drizzle to fight Mean Shao, and healed up on my first turn, and Mean Shao did a good amount of damage with Jump Kick. Then, on my second turn, Mean Shao got me down to 6 HP, and with one Surf, Mean Shao was defeated. And I also defeated Marshall, the last member of the Elite Four, which means I finally completed my very first Nuzlocke. Even though I'm done with the Elite Four battles, I think we have to pay condolences to a fallen comrade. Easy Cheese, my Route 4 encounter, made a valiant sacrifice to keep the run alive. Throughout this journey, we saw Easy Cheese evolve from a Sandile to a Crocorock to a Crocodile. Easy Cheese may not be with us in the game, but may we all remember him. Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching the video. It was really fun to make. I had to look up how to pronounce a lot of Pokemon names, and I don't know why, but Ryu Nicholas really shook me. But thanks for watching, and if you want to subscribe, subscribe.